YouTube, and welcome to House of Gammon. Now, I'm going to talk about Jeremy Corbyn, the elephant in the room, because today it's his birthday, and yesterday the hashtag Corbyn by Christmas was trending on Twitter, and it seems to me that many die-hard Corbynistas, they seem to think that once Jeremy Corbyn becomes Prime Minister, everything will be hunky-dory, tickety-boo. The first day of spring will be every day and everything will just be wonderful and magical, and this country will suddenly become a better place with Jeremy Corbyn as Prime Minister. But unfortunately, it's not going to be as easy as that. And I'm going to attempt to explain why. Now, when Jeremy Corbyn first became leader of the Labour Party, I like many others, was really, became really excited about politics again. I really believed that Jeremy Corbyn, was sincere, and he was not like other politicians, and he was really a man for the people, and I really wanted him to to become prime minister. I was really excited. I thought, yes, finally a socialist leader of the Labour Party who's going to turn Labour around and eventually turn this country around. And I was a die-hard Corbynista, but recently my views about him have begun to change. And I just don't think Jeremy Corbyn becoming Prime Minister is going to be as magical and wonderful as people think. I just don't think it's going to work out that way. Why do I say this? Well, firstly, what people don't seem to want to admit, what die-hard Corbynistas don't seem to want to admit, is that Labour are not going to be able to command a majority in the House of Commons without doing some kind of deal with the SNP. The SNP are still very powerful, still have a very tight grip on Scotland. They're still the dominating party in Scotland and the third strongest party in Great Britain at the moment. And I don't see that changing anytime soon, because Scottish Labour are quite, seem to be quite inept at winning support back from the SNP, and so in order to command a majority in the House of Commons, Jeremy Corbyn is going to have to do some kind of deal with the SNP, with Nicola Sturgeon, and I just think that would put the union of Great Britain at risk. It will move us closer towards Scottish independence, rightly or wrongly. And you have to think to yourself, is that what you really want? But that's perhaps another discussion for another time. Secondly, diehard Corbynistas point to, the huge crowds that Jeremy Corbyn attracts wherever he goes. Wherever he goes, there are massive crowds, all chanting, "Oh, Jeremy Corbyn! Oh, Jeremy Corbyn!" And I have to admit, the crowds are, he does attract massive crowds. But the thing you have to understand, and what diehard Corbynistas don't seem to want to talk about, is that massive crowds don't necessarily lead to votes, and if they do, they don't necessarily translate to seats in Parliament, because let's take cities like Leeds, where I live, and and other cities like Liverpool and Manchester and Birmingham and other big cities. Let's say Jeremy Corbyn attracts thousands of people in Leeds. I can't remember off the top of my head how many seats there actually are in Leeds. I know there's central, northeast, northwest, and there's a few. I'm sure there's a couple of other seats in Leeds as well. So all these people who turn up to these rallies, their votes are going to get distributed, throughout these different seats, and so it's not necessarily the case that Labour will win all of these seats because of the first past the post system. So that's something to bear in mind. Crowds don't necessarily translate into seats. Thirdly, in my opinion, Jeremy Corbyn he's a weak leader. He has shown weak leadership, especially recently. He has shown weak leadership in the Brexit issue. In the Brexit issue, in the issue of Brexit, he has tried to please everybody on both sides of the argument, Leave and Remain, and in doing so, he has failed to please anybody. And it has been unclear where Labour has stood on Brexit, and it's been unclear where Jeremy Corbyn has stood on Brexit, and that has resulted in Labour losing seats in the recent local elections to parties that have taken a clear stance on Brexit. Either way, either the Brexit Party or the Liberal Democrats or the Greens, because those are parties who, whether you agree with them or not, have taken a clear stance on Brexit, and that's what people want. And it looks like they're going to do just as badly, if not worse, in the European elections. Because people want a clear, to vote for parties that take a clear stance on Brexit, one way or the other. And and that is a big problem. And finally, ever since Jeremy Corbyn became leader of the Labour Party, even before he became even before he became leader, and when he started, when he went for, when he threw his hat into the ring for the leadership contest, people, the Blairites in the party, did have done all they have done all they can to undermine him, and it seems to me that die-hard Corbynistas, they seem to think, oh, once he's prime minister, the Blairites will shut up. No, they won't. You know, they won't stop trying to undermine him just because he's become prime minister. No, far from it. If anything, their campaign to undermine him will intensify. It won't surprise me that there'll be another leadership coup the second he steps into number 10. But seriously, the Blairites, they will continue to do all they can to undermine Jeremy Corbyn, even when he has become prime minister. It won't surprise me that they will vote against his policies in the House of Commons just to spite him. So, these are this is the elephant in the room that Corbynistas don't want to talk about. They seem to be of the impression that when Jeremy Corbyn becomes prime minister, these Blairites will magically stop trying to undermine Jeremy Corbyn, but they won't. If anything, it will get worse. Anyway, these are my thoughts on Jeremy Corbyn for what they're worth. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Anyway, thanks for listening. And if you want to see more videos like this one, do subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss another video. Okay, bye for now.